Lycans and gentlemen, children of the night, nocturnals, night terrors, and all things that go bump in the night. Welcome to your monthly treatment of shock therapy. The doctor will see you now. Show me your woes, and I'll cure all that ails you. Consider me your night watchman for this evening's festivities here at the Mind's Eye Theater. I invite you to violate curfew with me for this graveyard shift. I am your horror host incarnate for this sold out show. Boys and girls, children of all ages, step right up. The Mind's Eye Theater proudly presents to you a creature presentation that's out of this world. If the world's a stage, these invaders have come to perform. Hailing from the wrong side of the tracks, the killer clowns from outer space introduce a three-ring of terror, a carnival of horrors, a flea circus of fear. As mentioned, I am your ringleader incarnate, and I've had my own hoops to jump through to get this watch party to you. So, get them likes up. Boy, I've been waiting to do this one for quite some time. I'm absolutely thrilled for this. To me, man, this like you wouldn't believe it. You would think, it's just a cheesy movie, whatever. But nah, man, this movie. I remember when I first saw it. I was blown away by it, by the sheer. I mean, first off, the level of comedy and the sheer level of creativity. I absolutely love it. I think it's hysterical. I've always been such a fan of this film. I didn't, if I recall correctly, I did not see this movie until I was an adult. It must have, it would have had to have been when I got my apartment. But yeah, man, I absolutely love this movie. Again, it's a like you know what you get, like you and you see it from you see it and you hear it straight from the title of the movie. Like it's not it's not trying to fool you with what it brings to the table. But for me, I've always adored just the humor in it because it is actually funny. I've always loved the creativity, and you'll see during the watch party. You'll see the hilarity ensue. To me, this actually, you know what? I'll get into it a little later. About my specific feelings regarding this. 1 second. Close this. I think there's a bit of an echo, so I think now we should be good. But yeah, I've always thought that this movie is hysterical. I had always heard of it, and then like I said, I didn't see this movie until I had gotten my apartment. And by then, I was already an adult. So but still, there are certain movies that you hear of, and then you actually watch them, and they are just gut busting. And for me, this is absolutely one of those movies. So I very much was and am looking forward to this. Um, so just a brief introduction before we get into it. Um, this is a 35-year anniversary watch party. I meant to stream this last year, but I got caught up and I'm still catching up with so many watch parties from last year. So I wasn't able to do so last year, but that's okay because I'm still able to celebrate the 35th anniversary of this movie, of this film. And I'm happy to be able to do so. Um and another reason why I'm elated to be able to catch this movie is because this watch party just so happens to coincide with the release of this movie's video game tie-in. It just came over 30 decades to later, but recently the Killer Clowns game released, I believe, 2 weeks ago by my math. I think I'm correct in that. I've yet to play it. I absolutely will get around to doing so. Um, and I'm happy that how can I put it? That this that we're getting some iteration of this of the original movie. You know what I mean? The fact that we can get some kind of how can I put it? Some kind of adaptation for it going forward. Once. Yeah, I'm elated for that. I'm happy that it got to have some kind of continuance. You know what I mean? Because hey, this could just be something that's kind of forgotten, kind of left in the backlog, and just a B movie from the ancient history that is the 80s for a lot of people. I imagine there are many people that don't look at, or they just don't know about how great the 80s was. So yeah, I'm happy that it got some level of continuance. I'm thrilled that the powers that be saw this as something worthwhile, worth pursuing, worth continuing. To me, this makes a good summer watch party. I think that this is, in a lot of ways, this is a perfect B movie to watch. Now, speaking of, while people would busy themselves with convincing others that a shark exploitation movie is where it's at for summer horror, nah, son, that ain't it. Stick with me, kiddies. Your horror host incarnate may be a bad influence, but I never steer you wrong. Anyway, I'd like to direct your attention to the left-hand corner of the screen. Yes, I do also stream on Rumble. That's my main backup channel. I do want to have more of a presence there, and I do humbly ask for your assistance with that. Um, I want to be able to grow on all platforms, but Rumble I want to make a priority as I grow on YouTube and other platforms. So I do ask that you assist me along with that, because that's a goal of mine. And speaking of, it just so happens that I have a little poll for all of you. So I always like to put together a what I affectionately refer to as a totem poll, which is just my way of getting a little bit of interaction from the fans, from the viewers watching, but also for me, I always like to do these because it's kind of how can I put it? I like being able to gauge people's interest in whatever movie I'm watching, and genuinely seeing what others think of the movies that I'm either watching for the first time, that you are watching for the first time, or that you're coming back to revisit. So I always like to put up a totem pole. Um, Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's only available on the YouTube chat. However, with this movie, I mean, I absolutely have to go with high stakes. I like I've been saying at the as the intro, and as you'll see when we go along, this it's not just that this movie, is schlocky. It's the fact that they are able to elevate the material with levels of creativity. And for me, that's just it too often that's forgotten. I think far too many people, they think that they're making whatever low budget movie in whatever genre, and they don't really think much of it. There's no interest or intrigue in adding any level of imagination, behind it. And to me, it's like it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I firmly believe that when you do have examples when that's put to good use, when that's put to great use, it's absolutely necessary to give praise, to call it out, and for other people to be put on game regarding that. I think it's always important that these types of movies get recognition, because man, the like I said, there's a reason why I have always felt that the 80s, I call it the majestic decade. And even in a lower budget movie like this, that on paper you wouldn't think much of. it absolutely delivers where it needs to. And again, I find it important to be able to call that out when I see it, because that's no matter what you expect or you think of me, that's something that I am insistent on, always calling it down the middle. So when I see a movie like this that, rises, or not necessarily rises above its station as a B movie, but delivers everything a B movie should, I find it necessary to give kudos, to give credence, to give credit for that. And now you can too. I've just made the totem pole available. And speaking of that, let's take a look of your options. You can choose from bottom of the burial, shallow grave, my personal favorite, high stakes. So these are your options that you have to choose from as we go through the watch party. And again, this is only available on the YouTube chat, but I'll be giving reminders throughout the watch party so that all of you can pitch in and give your input on what it is that you think of the film if you've never seen it before, and what it is that you thought of the film if you are returning to it for the first time in quite some time. So, now moving forward, um, I naturally invite you to stream the movie along with me, and you can queue it up on Tubi, which spells the return of Tubi B movie. So let me take care of a couple housekeeping items, which gives you time to get your popcorn and soda pop ready. So, I'll be providing timestamps throughout the watch party to make sure that your viewing experience is synced up with my own, and as well as for the convenience of anyone who's joining casually late to the watch party. So, um, this live stream is brought to you in partnership with Hotness TV. I will be, let me see, today's the 21st, so in about a week or so, I will be writing my next edition editorial for the Hotness TV magazine. And let me see, I don't know what it'll be yet, but when that does release, I will give notification across all the socials, and I'm sure on one of my one of my live streams. So, this watch party is brought to you in partnership with um, Jabra headsets and Samsung devices. So, with 4th of July around the corner and summer sales being aplenty, if you're in the market for either Jabra headsets or Samsung devices, using the link in the description, it just serves as a nice kickback for the channel. The Mind's Eye Theater is a proud affiliate of the upcoming horror documentary Mental Health and Horror. So, when that does release, I intend on not just doing a watch party, but also doing a review of the movie. As you can see up top, if you're of a mood, if you want to support these watch parties, you can do so with the support link. I'll consider it your pound of flesh. The software that we use to do these live streams is called Streamlabs, and if you check the link in the description, they were nice enough to give us our own merch store. So I humbly ask if you could check those out. It's just another way for you to support. So we are coming to you live, streaming on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and presenting locals. Welcome to the watch party. So, in the enduring battle between Incarnate and the algorithm, my fans are my strongest weapon. Therefore, I humbly ask if you could get them likes up. Therefore, without further ado, we now present to you this creature presentation. Pennywise, throw the switch. And this movie does come with ads, like this one here, so I do ask if everyone can be patient with that. But you get to enjoy my soothing voice, so have no fear. Let me just fix something, just because I'm getting a bit of audio, or a bit of echo, excuse me. And I'm actually happy that like I meant to do this watch party earlier, but I kept putting it off for just I've just been so busy lately. And I'm glad I finally got to it today because I just checked on Tubi, and which is the perfect platform. I mean, look, we don't want ads in our watch party, generally speaking, but it is good if we can it's good that we can support it. And come on, like Tubi is the absolute king of B movies, so I'm cool with it. However, this was actually due to expire here on Tubi. This movie was due to expire in about a week, little over a week. So I'm glad that we were able to get to it when we could. Let me just check something. I'm getting echo on my, and the movie is starting now. There we go. That old MGM logo. So I just want to make sure that I'm coming in good on the stream, just because I was getting a little bit of echo on my headset. Kyoto Brothers. I mean, like, there's there's no reason, and this movie did not sell well upon release, but again, I'm thrilled that it has been able, like, people were able to see the value in it. It was able to continue. It was able to go on. Uh and it was able to be something, you know what I mean? And again, it's such a stupid, like, I think that, and I always go back to this, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's always necessary to me. It's important that these crazy, wacky ideas, like, if it's able to coalesce and the execution be able to deliver, I think I think that we need, um how can I put, I think that we need quirky, like, oddball concepts like this. And just they don't, if for no other reason, that they demand that those that are tackling it bring some level of creativity, because it can, it absolutely can be the case where the joke runs dry. Case in point, or just a pointless or a dead end concept of what I'm talking about, is I almost called it Annabelle. Um, no, Abigail. That stupid vampire movie that came out this year. Like, honestly, what the? That was such a dead end. It was such a dud, and I'm glad that it failed at the box office, because it's like, what the what? Ballerina vampire? Like, where do you go? What do you do with that? Where do you go from there? Stupid. Whereas something like this, it's, you'll see during the watch party, it's just it's like it's nonstop with uh how creative they get and how creative they go. This guy, the curmudgeon, his voice is so familiar. Uh-oh. They're at anal point. Fake out artists. I love the curmudgeon uh local yokel police lieutenant that hates teenagers. I mean, could you blame him looking at oh Jesus, really? So romantic. Oh god. Oh god, wow. Well, with all that, with this being shown, you can tell how this movie is a product of the 80s and could never be done today. Everyone, oh my god. Even the nerds want to kill that guy. Why would you be traveling to the outskirts of town in an You sure showed them. Uh-huh. Oh god. I forgot about the that. God. Or don't. This is so awkward. Oh god. Jesus. That's not something you want to admit. Why would you say that to your date? They just creeped out everyone who was there, killed the mood, and we're on a loudspeaker. You don't want to say that. You wouldn't want to tell anyone that you have affiliation with them. One would think. Oh Jesus! You know, raft. I just realized that. Couldn't get a knapsack and a pillow, dude. Whoa. Yeah. Can you tell this was on a low budget considering the effects? Hey, I know him. Go get him, Blue. Yes, of course. Naturally. Thousand. Talking about old yokels. This guy talks like he has 3 teeth in his head. You're in a car, not for nothing. And you know. Yeah, let's finish the champagne and the intercourse we were about to have. So the $2 million budget went primarily to production costs. Blue blazes. The clowns and the visual effects were created almost entirely by the filmmakers at very little cost. Interestingly, well, I'll wait. No, might as well say it now. The Dickies, the band who wrote and performed this film's theme song, they had actually not seen the film prior to writing the song. You don't say. How this thing just happened to pop up? Nobody. Did he really think he was gonna dig up a falling star with a shovel and a pail? See the show. Oh. Shouldn't you be barking around now? Really? I forgot that it was called that. That stupid dog. Really? How'd they had time to take that off of him? Oh no. Get it? Because it's clowns? Uh-oh. What? What just happened? Not so fast, old timer. What the hell did you think that was? Anyway, like I forgot to mention when the farmer. Hold on. Uh-oh. Nice. When Farmer Gene. When Farmer Gene goes into his house to get his tools so he can retrieve the meteor, the prop master could clearly be seen through the screen door, handing props to the actor. Boozing them up, were they? Beautiful night. Yeah, we're regular stereotypes. I love how he just hates these teenage punks. Actually, the future of America. In your face. Get in there. Where are they going exactly? Okay. Well, they're finally here. What the hell? That's racist. Look at this colonizer. Yeah, for real. Oh, you. I guess they were the only. I forgot that they were the only ones that drove up there. Is that really something to get that surprised over, especially when they weren't even around when this thing landed? Shh, looks familiar. You're kind of a dick. Susan Snyder? I think that's her name. Susan Snyder. She was in Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Fools Rush In. Night of the Creeps. That's probably where I know her from. There's no ticket booth. This place can't be legit. Yeah. Yeah, that's how they sound, just like in Europe. Oh my god. Yeah, this movie could not be made nowadays. The perfect double date. Making noise in a circus. Well, we can't have that. Oof. Clowns are us. Yeah, that line, it looks like it was decorated by Clowns Are Us. That was voted the worst line in the movie by a fan site, and I ain't gonna lie, even for a B movie, that's pretty deplorable. I mean, we gotta have some level of standards here, am I right? You know I'm right. Just to give some semblance that this is a legit sci-fi movie. A plasma ball. You don't think? You think so, huh? How much do you think that effect cost them? Yes. Fusion reactor. So these two characters, Mike and Debbie, were meant to be role reversals of horror movie archetypes. Mike is the dumb blonde who doesn't realize bad things are happening, and Debbie is the smarter one who catches on quickly. I call bull. I'll have none of it. Yeah, definitely not in Kansas anymore, huh, kiddies? This I always thought was these two ingredients that we're seeing now. I always thought were interesting. The use of cotton candy. Well, you'll see what it is that they use it for, as well as the popcorn. Hang it up to dry. I love how she is completely freaked out. Yeah, have a bite. Nobody, I tell you. Uh-oh. So when just now when Mike pulls the cotton candy off the body to reveal the bloody face of farmer Gene Green, a noticeably smaller cotton candy cocoon is seen hanging behind him. This is the final fate of the farmer's dog, Pooh Bear.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, that's pretty dark. Believe it or not, originally the film was to be titled. Uh-oh. They're like, yeah. Time for a quick getaway. I love this goofy ass gun. They couldn't. Yeah. they, they have to have that cheapy effect because, like, looking like it's just firing repeatedly because they couldn't have it follow them. Now, you wouldn't believe this, but the popcorn gun included a compressor inside that would fire real popcorn. It was the most expensive prop in the movie, costing $7,000 and taking 6 weeks to build. How crazy is it that this single prop was the most expensive and time consuming to build? Like, it really just shoots popped kernels using compressed air. It really does make you appreciate how far practical effects have come in the past nearly 40 years. They have their dog. Oh man. Okay, let's see. We're gonna hit the 20-minute mark in two, one now. Guys, if you can take two, well, if no matter which platform you're watching, if you can hit the like button, it just helps this video circulate. And if you are watching on YouTube, and perfect timing now that we just hit a commercial. If you're watching on YouTube, I do would like to direct your attention to the YouTube chat. If you can just vote in the totem poll, it would just allow you to vote on what your official rating for this film is, whether you think it's high, mid, or low. So, that what we just saw with the balloon animal, the special effects department had to coat the balloon dog's legs with latex because the balloons kept popping when they would touch the pine needles of the forest floor. That's weird that what do you call it? The pines were just that freaking sharp. Um as John Massari, the composer of this movie, when he returned the music master tapes to the studio, people in the accounting and legal department completely dismissed Killer Klowns as being, quote, a complete failure that will die a quick death, end quote. Masari responded, well, you don't get it. There are people that will love this movie. Shout out to him. I understand that not everything can be a blockbuster or, a sweeping, dramatic costume drama, but again, there absolutely are. There is room for movies like this as long as you add creativity and like a genuine passion for it, and that's what this movie had. Speaking of lacking support, the original distributor, which happened to be Trans World Entertainment, a small theatrical studio that mainly specialized in direct to video B level horror and action fare, they were initially supportive of the concept of the film, and they were going to put up a relatively decent prints and advertising campaign for a theatrical release. According to the Kyoto brothers, TWE heads Mosh Diamant and Helen and Edward Sarlouis, they booked the film in only a couple of theaters nationwide in the peak of the summer season rather than around Halloween, and the film bombed. TWE also had no interest in the merchandising rights to the film. In the subsequent years, video rentals and late night cable showings of the film found a small audience. In 1993, TWE was folded during the Credit Lyoness Entertainment banking scandal and sold its assets, including Killer Klowns from Outer Space, to MGM Studios. In 2001, MGM asked the Kyoto brothers to do a DVD commentary for the film for its Midnight Movies release, and the film eventually found a huge audience and became a major cult classic. And in subsequent years, also has also donned merchandising and a killer clown maze at Universal Studios' annual Halloween Horror Nights. So it really is the engine that could, and to me, it's a beautiful thing. um, Cocoons, you say? I think you're a little cuckoo. You stay out here. Uh-oh. I I'd forgotten that they arrived at town so quickly. Stupid. So, formed in 2001, the group Kyoto's was originally known as the Kyoto Brothers. The band's name was a tribute to the filmmakers Stephen, Charles, and Edward Kyoto, responsible for this movie. So, she just said the top of the world? Yeah. You could have described this like a so many different ways, a killer bear, an axe murderer, something, but they described it just Yep. You don't say. Tell me more. This guy has such a great voice for like just oh my god. Just the most sarcastic of tones. And he can handle like being like yelling at teenagers as well as being like really condescending towards them. It's great. Oh, it's actually called Top of the World. Okay. This guy's hysterical. Clowns. I get it. A band of roving ice cream truck merchants. I don't even know what the hell you'd even call that. This movie is hysterical. quickly, quickly now. It's funny because after dismissing Mike and Debbie's story as you about killer clown invaders, as you heard, Officer Mooney sarcastically foreshadows what's later going to happen in the movie. So good bit of foreshadowing. Originally, the movie was to be titled simply Killer Klowns. Clowns, of course, keeping the signature K. However, the Kyoto brothers feared it would be too much like basic slasher movie, so they added the from outer space to acknowledge the humor in the film upfront. That's right, lean right into all that cheese. I like how they took the time to create a puppet show. What have we here? You think I should go for it? Oh, oh, slippery little rascal. God, that guy looks like a frog with his bug eyes. Oh, she means business. What are you laughing at? Uh. I forgot that they were like 7 or 8 feet tall. A ray gun that can cocoon people. All right, that's a freaky laugh. I love the ray gun that can cocoon people into cotton candy. Oh, okay. Oh, good heavens! Oddly enough, the Kyoto brothers originally did not want to reveal the clowns until later in the film. However, and wisely, the executive producer insisted that they show them in the first reel. Yeah, I think we can all agree that this was for the best. I mean, it's a B movie and you already have the title, so just lean into the premise and go for broke. You hoodlums! It's so funny you say that because I'm the law! Ooh, lovers quarrel. I'm crazy, dude. I'm over the moon for you, like a meteor falling out of the sky with killer clowns in it. You dig? Well, damn. With wine? Oh God, this is that kind of party. Hope it's not sausage. It's just going to town from town to town. So it just so happens that another change by the executives was that during production, they asked for more clown mayhem. This resulted in the door-to-door shots of the clowns zapping people. The production. What just happened? Oh, I think I yanked something. Hold on, give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Almost pulled the cable out of the surround sound. Stop being a little bitch. So yeah, like I was saying, yeah, the executives wanted more clown mayhem, so the production also shot more destruction of the drugstore back in back in Hollywood because the drugstore location used during the principal photography in Santa Cruz would not allow them to make too much of a mess. Oh joy, this should be an interesting ride. Interestingly enough, the first day of recording, the music score took place on October 31st of 1987. Really? They could master spaceflight, but don't. They are mesmerized by shaving cream. Uh-oh. Oh no. So the insane the insane clown posse sampled dialogue from this film for the staleness on their 2002 Joker's Card album, The Wraith The Wraith Shangri-La. Yeah, that's why I came here with my girlfriend. Guess what? I'm doing her next. Jesus, look at this guy on the right. His smile is all gums. Oh, Jesus. Never get in a fight with ugly people. They got nothing to lose. Sure can. Why? Jive ass turkey. It would have been funny if he like honked the horn on the bike and the horn blew out like every freaking window within a 5 block radius. This to me is oh my god. This is one of the reasons why I would want to see a remake to this movie. One of the reasons why I would like to see that scene in particular remade is right beforehand the killer clown like scans him with a ray gun and like doesn't realize that he has reconfigured his spinal cord until he punches him the clown uppercuts the thug and his head dangles up in the air because his spinal cord has basically been turned into a coiled spring. Morbid, huh? Speaking of morbid, Jesus. I genuinely wonder. Well, no, I know where they got where the Simpsons got the idea for Krusty the Clown. I think it was a Bozo that had his own live studio show with kids at a 3 ring circus or something. Oh my god. Jesus, I do not remember this part. Um but this clown in particular looks like Krusty the Clown. Oh my god. For real. Wow, their teeth. Uh-oh. I like the ominous fog. What do we got here? Stereo. Crushed non-alcoholic beer. Lame. Interestingly enough, around the same time as this movie, MGM began production of 2 low-budget horror films. One of them actually being called Killer Klowns from Outer Space, clowns having a normal spelling, and the other, Clown's House by Victor Salva. So both films are very different, but with the concept of killer clowns, they only have that in common. Uh-oh. Salva, creator of the controversial Clown's House, expressed that there was a certain rivalry between both productions to know who copied whom, but in the end, the films were very different from each other. I love it. I love how usually there would be a mysterious type of liquid or something that is suggestive of an alien presence, but here it's cotton candy. It's not like a spider villain with like a big nest or something like that. Nope, it's just cotton candy. Now you're convinced, officer? Well, I'm no detective, officer. I think that's your job. We got another ad in a few seconds. Three, two, one. Okay. So a bit of more trivia. So the Kyoto brothers were interviewed for the podcast Classic American Movies to talk about the making of Killer Clowns as well as their love where their love of film began. So many of the characters in the film, including Mike Tobacco and the Terenzi brothers and Joe Lombardo, they were real names based on real childhood buddies of the Kyoto brothers. Mike Tobacco was known for bringing girls to make out point with champagne in his glove compartment and a rubber raft in his back seat. That's hysterical. The Terenzi brothers really did rent an ice cream truck with the hopes of getting girls. I gotta be honest, that's one of the weirder pitches I've ever heard for someone to peacock, let's call it. How interesting that despite its I wouldn't even call it, but despite the level of violence and the number of kills in this movie surprisingly rated as PG-13. And I mean, that makes sense because it really is more silly than scary. It's a surprise given its content and is surprisingly appropriate for people 13 years or older. And I mean, that's how it should have been. I know that the ratings board can be uncompromisingly stifling, but can you imagine dropping the censorship hammer on this of all movies and giving it a rated R? Not that, future installments should shy away from that. I think that um with what it is that they're presenting here, and again, the pure cheese of this movie, I wouldn't be I would be fine if they had, suitable levels of gore just as they don't overdo it. I probably won't make this like a main attraction of are we back? I think we're back. Yeah. I probably won't make this a main attraction of the live stream, my playthrough of survival horror games, but definitely probably a Thursday stream to accompany whatever game of the month I'm playing. This guy has a type of voice I could listen to him like read a phone book. Really? He doesn't even try to hide it. God, in a plastic cup. Salud. Oh, this guy's hysterical. Infestation. Bugs Bunny. Funny. How many phones do you have? Ah. Hey, when are you gonna start taking any of these seriously? Yeah, it must be the case. The hell with them all, he said. Where have I seen this guy before? So this car chase, with the this was meant to be shown before the opening credits. The character driving the car is Joe Lombardo, whom Mike and Debbie find in a cotton candy cocoon several scenes earlier in the film. Yeah. So this was intended to be far more spectacular. This car crash. The car was to fly over the cliff and crash down to the ground. Unfortunately, the sling rope snapped because Effects crew members neglected to remove the stoppers from underneath the car's wheels. Okay, we just hit the 40-minute mark. Guys, if you can remember, no matter on which platform you're watching this on, if you can just make sure to hit the like button, it just helps the film get views as well as fed to others as recommended in the recommended feed. And if you are watching on YouTube, if you could just remember to vote in the totem poll. Remember, depending on if you're watching this for the first time or if you're a return viewer to Killer Clowns from Outer Space, make sure to vote in the YouTube chat totem poll what your film rating is. That's creepy. Like, truly. Where was I? Um, yeah, so the car crash. The result was what is seen in the final film. The car slowly tumbles over the edge because and becomes caught on a tree. So because most of the vehicles for the movie were rented for the film, the production was not allowed to crash any cars, even though there are several scenes featuring a car crash. Only Joe Lombardo's car, which drives off the bridge, is the one that's damaged. What did he? He just threw a regular garbage? Big Top Burger. I'm guessing this is the proto Chuck E. Cheese. Uh-oh, that can't end well. Ah, it was so fake. What the hell could that even have been? Seatbelt down, boy. I just something about your eyes. I just get lost in them. I'm just gonna keep interrupting you. Oh, that was unnecessary. Dropping off or picking up. This is another. This scene right here is another reason why I love this movie and I feel like it should be remade. And that, like, the level, like, this is a very creative. It's very creative. Really? Re- I like how it has like regular if elongated teeth, and then like the typical the typical sharpened monster teeth. I like what I'm seeing. Okay, I don't get out much. Incredible. Hey, Copper, those deaths are on you. God Almighty. Hello, Henry Knight. I did not see. How odd. Your comments didn't come up on the YouTube chat. I don't know why. Oh well. Mike, you're in a car. Here are the killer clowns. The farmer's name is Gene Green. Yes. Where's Mooney? Here's Mooney. Have you? Oh, I didn't think you cared, Mooney. What a dick. I'm on to you. See what I mean? This guy's incredible. His facial expression. His facial expressions. Like, he could either just be like really dry and such a prick, or like when he's yelling, it's hysterical. Oh, we got another commercial just when it's getting good. uh oh my god. All right. So while this is going on, let me take a quick look at, let's see. Looking at the cast for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and we have John Vernon. What the hell has he? What else has he been in? Uh, Clint Eastwood movies. I know that I've seen him in some. Ernest Goes to Camp. No. What the hell else have I seen him in? I recognize his voice as well as his. Excuse me, his face. Airplane 2, the sequel. I don't remember. Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman. National Lampoon's Animal House. Clint Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry. Huh. I know I've seen him in something else. I just can't remember. Actually, what TV shows has he been in? Maybe there. Captain America, the Submariner, The Incredible Hulk, Invincible Iron Man, Spider-Man, Batman the Animated Series. Let me see. Batman the Animated Series, The Mighty Thor, John Vernon, Batman the Animated Series. Oh, Rupert Thorne. Yeah, I knew his voice sounded familiar. Cool. All right, I'm with it. Cool. It's always amazing to see like where, just the roles that certain actors have, and just like now, like you'll recognize them from somewhere. You just don't know. You know for a fact that you've either seen them or heard of them before, and then you if you do a little research, pow, Rupert Thorne. That's awesome. Oh, now we're getting commercials in Espanol. Yeah, so I mean, it's not a star-studded cast, but these people, the actors here have been in other media. Okay, we're back. So they just crashed the car. I do wonder if the women that they were with, the fat chicks, are still in there. He's like, no, get the hell out of my face with that crap. Yeah. Huh. You don't say. So, yeah, see. You don't know that. Incredible. Jesus Christ, these two are idiots. Freak yous? Oh no, not me. Not good old Mooney. They curse so much in this movie. I'm surprised it's rated PG-13. Not one F drop yet. We're only halfway through. Oh boy. Punches him out with a boxing glove. He puts out a cigarette. It was this actor John Vernon's idea to have the clown squirt him twice in the face with the flowers for greater comedic effect. Brett Leonard plays the clown that squirts the water in Officer Mooney's face. I'm gonna blow a balloon animal up your ass. Well, damn. I was wondering if they were gonna pull that gag. He pulls. I thought he was gonna pull out his side piece. All right, you. I've had enough of this funny business. I thought I was gonna flip him the bird twice. Yes, point the gun away from him and in the general direction of people already imprisoned. Bucko. He just waddles right in. Hmm. Whoa. I know my rights. Somebody get me a can and a cake with a file in it. This is hysterical. That's great. That couldn't have been funnier if it had it inflated into a mallet that slapped him over the over the forehead. Loitering. Okay, I think it's fair to say that this chick has been showering for a little too long. In fact, Debbie's shower scene lasts for like 20 minutes of screen time and potentially covers hours of time in the chronology of the film itself. I forgot about the red footprints. That used to be a gag with clowns. They would basically, yeah, they would paint their footprints. See what I mean about this movie? It like they get so much mileage out of like both the clowns and generic alien conspiracy tropes like cocoon pod people and strange webbing left behind by their mothership is the big top. Just genius, man. This movie is hysterical. And I like how most of the actors, like, they play it straight. Ah, painting the walls. That's actually a funny, yet subtly creepy touch. And what do we have here? Now, I've mentioned the two scenes where, or that I felt were very creative. The shadow puppet turning into a T-Rex and eating people, and the cocoons. The cocoons made out of cotton candy. But this is good from a horror, uh, like a unsettling horror perspective. Cotton candy pod people. Uh-huh. And then what's coming up next? Hey, you were there. You're in the detective's chair. The music helps too. And the fact that his face is painted. His glassy eyes and pale complexion. The rasp. The smile that's painted with his blood. That could have gone for that scene could have gone for a little longer, I will say. That is a genuinely unsettling scene. What the hell they could have done to him? And the voice was eerie and haunting to say the least. Without their nose, they're powerless. That's funny. Did he explode into confetti? What happened to Mr. Myers? Who's Henry Knight? Who's Mr. Myers? Hold on. Mr. Myers. Oh, the store clerk. I don't think that they. Oh God, we have another commercial. I don't think that they showed that. Now that you mention that, huh? That's a good question. I'll be sure to keep a lookout. I don't remember. Has that been the burning question that you've wondered about all these years with Killer Clowns? Yeah, he's a drugstore worker. Correct. I just looked him up. That's a good question. I don't know. Well, I don't know if when you caught the stream, but they had the Kyoto brothers, the writer director of the film. They had to go back to film additional what do you call it, scenes, because the producers wanted like more clown mayhem. So it could just be that they filmed the clowns going from one door to another and like zapping people with their ray gun, and then how can I put it, um then they added that scene in the drugstore without thinking to do anything with it. He screams over the phone, so he's dead. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, you answered your own question. Mr. Henry Knight, I feel compelled to ask, when did you first see Killer Clowns? Was it as a kid? I don't know how old you are when it first came out, or was it as an adult? I had always heard about this movie. I didn't watch it until I was an adult, and I mean it it cracked it absolutely cracked me up the way that it's cracking me up now. Okay. And are we back? Come on, commercial. Okay, we're back. Stupid. All true. Really? Forget about it. Well, I guess you have to find out for yourself, boyos. Whoops. This is also kind of funny, like how they're just collecting people with a giant vacuum. So this iconic Killer Clowns March was originally written by John Massari for his high school rock band Crisis. The band members did not like it because the notes of the song spelled out an F major seventh chord, which they felt sounded too much like jazz. Womp womp. Still getting away, kid. Incredible. Of all things to run and flee and from in terror from. Now, whatever could that be? So that was the popcorn that was on her. Oh Jesus. That was the popcorn that was on her clothes. I guess those were killer clown seeds or something. Ew. Now what the hell's that gonna do? Oh, alright. That works. Your boyfriend, who you won't give it up? Ah, that's funny. I forgot that they could do that. What? What the hell? This is hysterical. They have a trampoline and the fireman hats. Okay, we're gonna hit the 1 hour mark in 2, 1 now. Guys, no matter which platform you're watching this on, if you could please hit the like button, it would just help this video circulate in other people's recommended feeds. And if you're watching on YouTube, I ask if you could vote in the totem poll. Uh, your options are what what you think of the film. It's either high stakes, mid, shallow grave, or low, bottom of the barrel. You're awfully pushy. She's in a balloon. So they had approximately 40 clowns that they used um in this movie, and especially in the climax. You'll see it later on at the big top. No clowns were harmed in the making of this film. I love the streamers for no reason. I guess you could call this a real clown show. Yeah, for real, dude. Wow. And again, they had to simulate a car crash because they couldn't afford to get any cars damaged. Which, speaking of, the Jeep that we saw before at Makeout Point or Top of the World, whatever it was called, the Jeep is covered in and filled with cotton candy webbing. It was loaned to the production of this movie by a local car dealership. So they were told by the effects department that if they sprayed the Jeep with Pam, the webbing wouldn't permanently stick, would not permanently stick, and could be wiped right off. However, the solvent in the webbing caused major damage to the inside of the car. That's interesting. If the circus tent had actually grown. Anyway, so yeah, the solvent in the webbing caused major damage to the inside of the car, particularly to the seats and the finish. This necessitated about $3,000 in repair at a different car dealership before the production could return to the Jeeps could return the Jeep to its owner. So that was a bit of a misfire. This is great. Just when you thought they didn't have any more tricks up their sleeve, pun intended. I love it. The clown car. This is his. So, a comedian by the name of Soupy Sales was originally considered for the part of the security guard, getting killed by the clown's acidic pies. He was known for receiving pies in the face for his children's television show, Lunch with Soupy Sales. Transworld Entertainment turned down the idea, feeling that audiences would not know who Sales was, which is makes sense because I didn't know who he was. Oh God, another the cherry on top. That is hysterical. Another freaking ad. So that's actually perfect timing because when I was watching this, I was saying to myself, man, the only thing that was missing was like a Three Stooges seltzer gag, and seltzer gags used to be used a lot in like cartoons. Just to give you guys an example of what I mean.
I'd like to see you do that again. me that.
Oh baby, the amount of gags and like genuine creativity. You could tell that these guys, I mean, look, they didn't have the biggest budget, but man, they really did have creativity and what they were able to pull off with the effects that they had, the effects budget. Again, my hats goes off to them because I'm happy with what we got, and apparently, plenty of other people are considering that this movie reached cult status, and it wasn't overnight. In fact, as I read the timeline, um, it did take several years for this film to really find its what do you call it, its fan base and really blossom into something. I really would like to see what, and obviously you don't want to go too crazy with the budget, but I would like to see what is capable with, and I imagine MGM is too. I would like to see what's capable with this IP with a bigger budget. And are we back? We're back. Jesus. Why would you touch that? Yeah, good thing you got your hands on it, stupid. Incredible. Like an idea that I had just as I noticed the ice cream truck driving back towards the big top, it had grown into more of a circus. Imagine actually seeing the big top, well, almost like spider legs extending, except it's like a roller coaster in one direction or a funhouse mirror attraction in another direction. Imagine the big top actually extending, like you see it expanding into from a tent into a full circus. I also would like to see explored in, well, I'll get into that a little later. Well played. I love all the spitballing he's doing. Yes. Try to figure all this out even louder. I like how we're now that we're here at the end, we have that ominous fog from the movie Alien. Perfect. That's what I mean about this movie. Like I would like to see it blend a little, just a little bit more like ufology, like typical Martian, little green men, gray alien tropes and like make a comedic twist with them like they do with the pod people in the cotton candy. What the hell are you even thinking? A ball pit. I had forgotten about that. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, these are two chicks that they picked up? Or two different, okay. That's frightening. Truly. Idiot. So, um, for cost reasons, the interior of the spaceship Big Top was made with modular Tinker Toy design. So various elements were built that could be put together differently to make it appear like different rooms rather than designing and building multiple sets, which would have been at great expense. So the Kyoto brothers described the design as a combination of Memphis design and Dr. Seuss. I would have told you if I did. And they saw her in a balloon. It just passed a balloon. Uh oh. Again, I love the addition of the fog here. And yes, not for nothing, but your legs would still be very much visible. This guy is shaped like a bowling pin. Again, I absolutely cannot fault this movie because despite its low budget, knocking on fluff, okay? Despite its low budget, I mean they you can tell that they squeezed every penny. But they got their money's worth and so did we. A silly straw. What the hell is the point of that? Absolutely incredible. And they just had to add that pointless sphere in the middle of it. Yes, highly grossed out. You piggy. He has no earthly idea what the hell he just saw. He slaps him with the gun. Hold on, I'm gonna blast her out. How funny would it be if he punches it so hard that the balloon absorbs him into the. uh, let's put that one down as a lucky shot. Come on, you can make it. Those matte paintings up top. Don't bother shooting any of them. I love the elevators in this. Ah! I realized the limited like I almost wish this film had a bigger body count. That way I could see much more of just the whack job oddball ways that they would have of performing homicide. A slide. I almost missed that. Holy crap. What the hell? Jeez, another. All right, I have to. Oh my god, this is hysterical. I have to assume that this is the last commercial. Come on, Tubi. This movie's only an hour and a half, and I feel like we've had 7 or 8 commercial breaks, but that just gives me more time to listen to my swan-like voice. Um, I think movies like this are absolutely needed. And look, not everything can or needs to be a triple A, uh, horror movie exploration of the human condition or anything like that. So, like, man, compared to what we get nowadays, I wish we got more movies like this. Like, as crazy as it might sound, I wish that sci-fi channel, when they make their stupid Sharknadoes or whatever, I wish that they would strive for this kind of B movie. I think that eh, the reputation that they have and they deservedly have earned, I think that uh I think that sci-fi movies would have a better reputation and a better standing with people if they were actually entertaining instead they're just like, disposable, disposable, interchangeable, and forgettable, to be honest. And again, it's been wild to see the journey that the Kyoto brothers and this property have made. And I'm absolutely down for it. And I'm glad. Hey, shout out to its handlers, not the the rights holders and the powers that be for investing into this with the recent game that's come out. And I think we're back. I gotta believe. Yeah, we're back. I gotta believe that was our last commercial break. What the hell is that? Okay, honestly, did they run out of fog or something? What's the point of these balloons? Another thing that they deserve to be commended for is no two clowns look the same. You know what I mean? This was funny. Not the door. Oh, the balloon animal. I like how the balloon animal barks. She's a bat. Yeah, here you're gonna see about 40 different characters, and they all look unique. Jeez, a mace. These clowns are hardcore thugs. Really? They look like they caught cold sores from those clowns. They got herpes from a clown, or what I call serpies. Doot doot. Uh-oh. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse. This was an out of left field edition, but still very much welcomed. I like how they all run in fear. I love how he's lowered on strings. So the giant king clown, affectionately called Clownzilla by the Kyoto brothers, was actually played by one of them, Charles Kyoto. Originally, Clownzilla was supposed to be made with stop motion animation, but due to production costs and limited time to shoot, they made a suit instead. You know, while either would have worked, I'm glad they went with the character in a rubber suit setup. I think that's classic, and Godzilla wasn't above that treatment, so I'm cool with it. He shoots her instead. Aim for the big top. Its face is almost like crocodile-like. Uh-oh. Blast off in T minus 10. Okay, we're gonna hit the 20-minute mark right now. Guys, if you can, this will be the last reminder before the show's end. If you can just hit the like button on whichever platform you're watching this on. And if you are watching on YouTube, if you could please vote in the totem poll. Um, your options for the movie are high, mid, and low. You better click high stakes, I swear to God. Farewell. Oh, never mind. It just the big top had just landed there. I thought that the roller coaster around it was like an outcropping of it. Well, damn. You're telling me that the cop got stuck there? Oh Jesus. Really? What a way of killing this thing. So John Massari's music for the entrance of Clownzilla was originally composed a year earlier for Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives for that movie trailer. Massari's music for that trailer was rejected in favor of a more cliche musical approach. Never cop around when you need one. So the original ending saw Deputy Dave die in the Big Top explosion, but after test screenings, executives wanted a more upbeat ending. While the Kyoto brothers, get this, initially resisted ostensibly and ridiculously wanting a realistic ending. They ended up reshooting the ending in a parking lot in Van Nuys. Oddly enough, the Terenzi brothers always survived the explosion by hiding in the freezer of their ice cream truck. Uh, Years later, Indiana Jones would think of that as well. Oh, those boys. How's that confetti? Oh, they'll be back. And there it is, folks.
And now his watch is ended.
And now their watch is ended.
So, that has been Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now is the point in the watch party where, if any of you fine folks feel the desire to keep the good times rolling, here's where I give recommendations of other films that are kind of in the same vein that you might enjoy. Uh, sorry, is here. All right, whatever. So, here's where I give recommendations similar to the movie that we just caught.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
Make it a blockbuster, right?
Work, so give me one. Again, where I give recommendations similar to the movie that we just watched.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
Make it a blockbuster, right?
All right, now we're cooperated. So, movies that are similar to Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I would have to go with Gremlins, the original. Definitely Critters, The Monster Squad, that's a good one. The Blob, Waxworks, and Return of the Living Dead. And if you notice, they all happen to be from the 80s. So to me, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it gets right what similar movies such as Invaders from Mars, a remake in the 80s of a movie from the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. And the Killer Clowns from Outer Space gets right what Invaders from Mars and the 90s Mars Attacks gets wrong. Uh, they're, like I've mentioned so very often throughout this watch party, it just there's cleverness to it. You know what I mean? Like there is a genuine there's genuine intrigue, there's genuine creativity, and I cannot stress this enough. The fact that they were on a limited budget, they get a lot out of their budget. You know what I mean? There's and I'll be getting into specifically what I mean about how it is that they were able to stretch every dollar and really create something special here. But to me, this absolutely is it's a classic film. It's a classic B movie. I mean, really, just look at all the different what's the word I'm looking for? All the different gags that they were able to pull off, and just the mileage that they were able to pull off with traditional, clown antics. The lemon meringue pies that melt people. The cotton candy pod people. That is brilliant. The popcorn shotgun. Who would have thought of that? The balloon animal bloodhound. The big top as a mothership. Clownzilla. Hey, why not? The clown punching bag. The T Rex shadow puppetry. Do you see how adding creativity to a B movie only adds to the film's enjoyability and staying power amongst fans? All that was missing from my perspective was a rubber chicken and a whoopee cushion. Ah, just brilliant. Oh, and the officer ventriloquist scene. Honestly, how freakish was that for as brief as it was? You see how leaning into the more horrific imagery can elevate the fear factor of your horror comedy? It's not a big ask, but this movie was able to pull it off. Now, let me once more go through the timeline of the inflation, pun intended, of this movie's growth in terms of the adoration that people had for it. Because keep in mind, it was not a hit in the theater. The film became a cult classic and made revenue in action figures, DVDs, and t shirts, as well as an assortment of animatronics and other decorations from Spirit Halloween. So, its original distributor, Transworld Entertainment, they initially appeared to be very supportive of the film, but their release and their advertisement for this movie was very limited. And the Kyoto brothers repeated those sentiments in interviews and the like. The film was booked with only a couple of theaters nationwide, and unfortunately, it released in the summer, which even back in the late '80s when this movie came out was very competitive, especially with its summer action films. So, because this released in a very busy schedule, as opposed to Halloween, the movie flopped. It bombed. Additionally, its distributor, Transworld Entertainment, they didn't have the foresight to see the value in the film, so they didn't have any interest in merchandising this movie. How much? Look, considering what it turned into, how big of a mistake was that? In '93, uh, uh, the distributor unfortunately was wrapped up in some kind of banking scandal. Its assets were sold, and MGM fortunately picked it up. And in 2001, when this movie came out to DVD, that's when it began to enjoy the cult following that it has now. That's when finally, after so long, after 13 years, if I'm not mistaken, finally it was able to reach a bigger audience and reach that cult status. And from there, not only was merchandising much more available to it, but much more just open and much more lucrative, and there were many more options that they can go down once merchandising picked up. Think about this: Killer Clowns went so far that they went on to have its own maze at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, that's huge. And then when MGM was acquired by Amazon, Amazon saw the value in it. So much so that now we have a video game for Killer Clowns. I'm really, this is such a great like underdog story. because limited budget, but it had a lot of heart into it. Definitely a lot of humor, and it really turned into something. You know what I mean? And I love to hear and see stories like that. It's very rare, but and hey, shout out to all you. Shout out to the fans that have kept this wagon going, because truly it is people like you that why we're able to get um returns to franchises like Dexter season 8. It's because of fans like you. Why it is your love for these franchises, why we were able to get the recent Alone in the Dark remake. It's because of the fan base, why it is that we're able to keep these properties on life support, so that our love, our affinity for these things, that they other people can take notice. And hey, it doesn't happen all the time, it doesn't happen as frequently as we would like, but again, when it does happen, it is imperative that we as a fan base take notice of that. To me, movies like Killer Clowns, The Fog, Waxwork, or Monster Squad, they could never be the greatest horror film of their decade, but it speaks to just how jam packed with a quantity of quality that the 80s was, that these films are not only welcomed additions, but they serve to round out and level up an already impressive lineup of output of that decade. Look, not every film can reach the heights of A Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, An American Werewolf in London, but damn son, when you have an array of A-list horror, you can absolutely make space in the genre for plenty of B movie selections. Nowadays, you get movies like Get Out or The Invisible Man 2020 that are treated like peerless classics or important to the genre that should be taught in universities. Look, when there's no hierarchy, there's no standards to anything, and, well, any old movie can be considered great, which would reflexively mean that no movie is great if that's the case. Junior tier movies will only make your upper echelon films appear better and, as a whole, bolster your genre. And that's what these movies that I just named, including Killer Clowns, can do for the greater tapestry of the horror genre and the decade that they spring from. Um, in whatever fashion we see a continuance of the Killer Clowns IP, a couple things that I would like to see personally. I would like to see, and these are ideas that came to mind while I was watching this. How great would it be, whether in a movie, maybe an animated show, or a game sequel? How great would it be to see a Killer Clowns freak show? Just a menagerie of different oddities and monstrosities that they've collected like pets that house what would be like their petting zoo, you know what I mean? Or just freaks and oddities like their version of the two-headed girl, or their version of the bearded lady, things like that. The smallest man, or a giant 7 foot tall freak of nature. What would their freak show look like? um I had mistakenly believed that in the scene where the ice cream truck at the end is driving towards the circus tent, I thought that the Killer Clowns like territory had expanded outward from the mothership. But what if in a sequel, in a follow-up that had a bigger budget, what if you actually did see that? Like, I don't know, their influence or the number of hosts that they've managed to cocoon into the cotton candy. What if you actually see an outcropping of their mothership, like spider legs? You'll have a roller coaster here, a Ferris wheel there, and they're all in like nightmarish versions of them. But how cool would it be to see the circus tent, or for their mothership to grow from circus tent to a full carnival? Um, Another thing I would have liked to have seen, more utilization and hybridization of ufology. So I would like to see like more renditions and depictions of little green men, Martians, or gray alien tropes, similar to, the pod people. In this movie, the pod people take the form of cocooned townspeople in cotton candy. Like, and how cool would it be to see it, like a little green man or like a chupacabra inside of their freak show? But what I mean in terms of ufology, like, the pod people example I mentioned, or like whenever you have uh an alien abduction, you see that a light beam source beams down on a weary human or a cow and beams them up to their ship, to their flying saucer. Things like that, like more of a crossbreed between uh, tropes of clowns and visitors from another world. I would like to have seen more amusement park attractions that are filtered through the killer clowns like spin. For instance, what would be their iteration of a funhouse mirror? Um, and again, I do realize the limited budget that they had to work with for this movie, but I would absolutely like to have seen a bigger body count. Not because I'm a gore hound, but I would love to see the different ways that these aliens would have of dealing with and performing a homicide in comedic ways, like they did with the acid pies. Honestly, who would have thought of that? A lemon meringue pie to the face that kills you. It would have only been funnier if, like, I think there was a skit in Darkwing Duck where he took a pie to the face, and then when he peeled it off, he peeled it off of his head, his eyes were on the pie, blinking back towards him, like, really freaky. But imagine that in one of these types of movies. Oh man. So another thing, I would like to make a slight distinction based off of another watch party I did a year ago. So, I believe last year I celebrated the 35th anniversary of The Blob, which I believe came out in the same year as Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So, I refer to The Blob as the ultimate B movie, and I said something similar to Killer Clowns. Now, both are really good for what they are. Both are classics in their own right. What the distinction I would like to make is The Blob is a B movie concept, but elevated to the point that it is upper echelon. Now, um, you have to understand that and this is within context, way back in the 70s, so even a decade before The Blob and Killer Clowns came out, you would have movies like Jaws and Aliens. You have to understand something. Jaws and Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien, they're both B movies. It's just that they are so good at how they handled their material. It was not schlocky. It was not tongue in cheek or unintentional comedy. No, it's just that Steven Spielberg and Ridley Scott, respectively, handled their material so well that they were able to rise above a mere B movie or a mere creature feature. And again, both movies are creature features. It's just that they are handled so well and with such seriousness and so atmospheric and a tone to them that they were able to become cultural icons and touchstones of cinema because they just burst the bubble and were able to break out of that. Now, how can I put it? The Blob isn't at the level. It's still The Blob is still a great movie. It's not at the level of an Alien or a Jaws, but I hope you understand what I mean. It's still a B movie that pushes the limit of its own genre to become something that's much more upper echelon. Now, through and through, Killer Clowns is, I mean, it's in the name, and it's, if not, you can see the portrayal of it. It absolutely is a B movie. But I mean, look at all the level of creativity and the mileage that they were able to get with a simple schlocky premise such as that. It is the definitive B movie because it is what other B movies should strive to be. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have a concept that you're able to push and elevate so that it transcends something lower level, something junior tier, if you're able to push it to such a level where your execution, your characterization, your plot development, your story execution is so very much on point that it's able to transcend that and become something on the level of the Blob, something on the level of Jaws or Alien, by all means. But um, i- there is a distinction that I feel between the Blob and Killer Clowns, and believe me, that's not a knock on either of them. I think that again, these are movies, these are the type of films that other films should strive to be. If the Sci-Fi Channel wasn't so fixated on, like, leaning so hard into that comedic aspect of it, that it could actually take for once. And look, if you're not going to take something seriously, at least add creativity. Give people something to celebrate with it, not just, "Hey, that was stupid, wasn't it? Hey, I can't wait till next week." Actually give somebody um a reason in order to grow a fan base around. You know what I mean? And sadly, we don't have that anymore. And I very much wish that we did, just because, and it is very lacking. I'm sorry to say, it's very lacking nowadays. And like I said, like, so often, far too often nowadays, people are so very almost too willing to jump the gun and name something as how can I put it? Name whatever flavor of the month that's just released as, like, some kind of peerless classic or a next an instant hit, when that's really not the case. But you get a movie like Killer Clowns, and as dumb as it sounds, you cannot knock the fact that it has had staying power, and that was built up over the timeline that I just described. The rights issues were a problem for a couple of years, if not over a decade. Um, it was originally supposed to be supported by its studio. It got limited marketing. It was put in a bad time slot in terms of release, limited theater release, and then even the composer of the movie was told, "Hey, movie's about to die a death. No one will support it." And through little by little and by degrees, uh, the path was set and the way was paved for, right at that 2001 DVD release, when the Kyoto brothers were asked to come back to offer commentary. That's when everything began to bloom for it, and that hardcore niche but cult following was able to develop. And hey, I absolutely applaud the journey that this film has taken. I wish that for more movies. I mean, look, I'm going to be doing a video soon discussing how certain films, I'm sorry to say that, um that are touchstones within the horror genre. Fact of the matter is, nobody showed up. Nobody showed up during the film's release. I've just gotten notification today about the upcoming Thing documentary that Creative VC is working on, the people behind In Search of Darkness and the soon to release Aliens expanded documentary. Look, The Thing is such an influential movie. There are so many video games and other movies that have been inspired by it, but hey, that movie was a flop upon release. Candyman is another one that people did not show up for. Slither, I mean, the list goes on. But because of the fandom, because of the loyal fan base, the core niche audience is allowed to grow and blossom, and it is because of that something special within these movies, within these junior tier films, these B movies, that hey, there's a lot of heart behind it, and these movies have staying power. And that's really something to commend, going on damn near 40 years that Killer Clowns has been a thing. So I greatly applaud movies like this. I wish that we could get B movies like this. I wish, instead of okay, a lower tier B movie, or a triple A horror film, hey, there's nothing wrong with a middle market horror movie. I wish that we would get more of this. Um so it has been a long road for Killer Clowns that has now gotten all the way to distribution under the Amazon brand. Amazon had acquired MGM Studios and its IPs a couple years back. I did cover that on a coroner's report when the news dropped, and I believe I highlighted Killer Clowns within that news coverage. So I'm so thrilled that not only does a bigger studio, I believe now it's called Amazon MGM Studios, not only do they prioritize properties like Killer Clowns, but they see, with the release of the video game, they see the benefit of it. They see that this does have a fan base. They see the need and um the return on investment, hopefully, that a Killer Clowns license can have, and that's great. I mean, the fact that Amazon is an Amazon with the MGM licenses is such a powerhouse in the making. It's great that they can look at this as something important and not something throwaway, something to be dismissed, or something to, yeah, invest in, but in give the least amount of investment behind this property, like how for so long the Hellraiser movies were just inescapably trapped within the vice grip of dimension. You know what I mean? So I look forward to seeing what comes next, and in what form of media. A sequel, the video game, the sky's the limit. And one last piece of information, or one last piece of on a wish list. I would like to see a story in any form of entertainment where humans are forced to travel to the Killer Clown's homeworld. Something to think about. So, that has been this watch party. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you liked the watch party, like the video and share it with your friends. If you hated it, subscribe to my channel and share it with your enemies. So, now I take a look at what is on the scene for the Mind's Eye or Mind's Eye Theater and the Greater Mind's Eye. So, I released a little over a week ago my gut reaction to the Silent Hill teaser. I invite you to my channel to take a look at that. Also, we did, alright, earlier in the month, the Hotness TV magazine released its June edition. So I would invite you to take a gander. It's only $5 for digital. It does come in print as well. I did a preview of what summer horror for this month looks like, and boy, you guys, I had to scour the release window for like anything that was worth talking about. and I managed to get 3. It's not a lot, but I managed to get 3 movies releasing this summer and give my thoughts on them. They're all frankly toss-ups. 2 of them are sequels. One of them is an untested movie. Well, not untested, but it's uh, while it looks promising, it's not a guarantee that the movie will deliver. So that would be Long Legs, coming out in just under a month. But I had to seriously do some searching in order to get you even a list that high. I don't care what other clickbait horror media websites say, guys. Only 3 good horror movies coming out this summer. So, what do we have as far as coming attractions are concerned? Within about a week's time, I will be working on the next edition of the Hotness TV magazine for July. That will obviously be a horror related. So once I put pen to paper and the magazine actually releases, I'll make sure to inform you guys on my socials and of course on whichever Mind Games live stream or Mind's Eye Theater watch party I do. Additionally, I do want to do trailer gut reactions to both Longlegs and Alien Romulus. So those are the next 2 horror films due to release. I have a bunch of horror movie trailers that I need to get to. Beetlejuice 2, the trailer for The Inheritance looks pretty good. The trailer for what was it? Smile 2 just dropped. Ugh. So those will be coming up, but definitely the trailer gut reactions for Alien Romulus and Longlegs are what are next on my slate. Also, this week was busier than I thought it would be, so I couldn't get to my playthrough on on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So, Sunday, I do ask for you to come right back and join me. I will be doing a live stream of System Shock Round 4. Therefore, mark your calendars and say your prayers. I've been incarnate, offering a word of caution. Fear the worst, so long you recognize who's best. If you're resigned to your fate, time to subscribe to your fears.
Warn your friends.